All right. I'm sure. I'm sure, like everyone's aware of the job passport policy that's in place in Ontario. So, um, yeah. And I've mentioned before, like how there was going to be like lawsuits against that. So, like, yeah, there was going to be lawsuits filed against like these, like job mandates and all that. So I'm gonna pull up an article. I'm gonna pull up a page that'll help explain it because now there's a place that's filed a lawsuit against the Ontario government for its unlawful job mandates. So I'm gonna pull it up right now. So this is from the the Justice Center for Constitutional Freedoms website. So it says Justice Center sues Ontario government over job passport. It says the Justice Center has filed a constitutional challenge against Ontario's job passport mandate in Ontario's Superior Court of Justice. So, so that red, so the red bar. Yeah. So this is actually the link to the lawsuits. Um, yeah, and then continuing on, it says the legal challenge is brought on behalf of 8 Ontario citizens who are exercising their charter rights and freedoms by not taking one or more doses of the COVID jab. One of the 8 applicants in this court case is Sarah Lamb from Kitchener. She suffered serious adverse effects from the first dose of the COVID jab and has decided against the second dose. Ms. Lamb has been unable to obtain an exemption to the jab passport. The Ontario government has proclaimed that exemptions to the jab passport would only be accepted in very limited cases. Ms. Sarah Harji, another applicant, is an expectant mother with degrees in nursing and public health. Ms. Harji is concerned about possible adverse effects from the COVID jab on herself and her unborn child. Currently, there are no long-term studies which prove the new jab's safety. Evan Kryenbrick is a paramedic who has decided he will wait for further data on the effects of the COVID jab prior to deciding whether to be injected with it. Mr. Kryenbrick also has religious beliefs about being ultimately accountable to God for what he allows to be done to his body. Sam Saburin is a 29-year-old gym owner in Ottawa. Mr. Saburin exercises his charter right to bodily autonomy by not taking the COVID jab and also refuses to deny entry to his gym based on jab status. He welcomes all patrons without discrimination. All the applicants have concerns about the government compelling jabs to go about their normal lives. So with respect to owners of businesses and organizations, the job passports compel them to enforce unconstitutional laws, as well as laws that would typically be considered to violate human rights legislation. Ontarians should not be forced to discriminate and exclude others from society on the basis of a personal and private medical decision, points out Jorge Pineda, staff lawyer at the Justice Center. Ontario's jab passport laws were introduced on September 22nd, 2021, and prohibit individuals from entering restaurants, gyms, and other establishments unless they are fully jabbed, as defined by the government. As of October 20th, 2021, individuals will be required to produce government issued QR codes on a smartphone in order to obtain everyday services the government has arbitrarily deemed non essential. Ontario Premier Doug Ford has claimed that the jab passport can give us the best chance to slow the spread of this virus while helping us avoid further lockdowns. However, the government does not dispute that jab people spread viruses. Further, jab manufacturers have only promised that those receiving the new mRNA jabs will suffer less severe symptoms. No promise was made that jabs stop the spread. Businesses and organizations that do not enforce these new restrictions are liable to fines of up to $10 million, and business owners are being threatened with imprisonment for up to 1 year. Canada's Canada's Charter of Rights and Freedoms guarantee the rights and freedoms of Canadians. The Supreme Court of Canada has found that the Charter protects the right to bodily autonomy and informed consent. This is the law, and it is indisputable. The jab passport is a brazen attempt to subvert the Charter and to render its protections meaningless, says Mr. Pineda. The Ontario Job Passport itself is an instrument of coercion that pressures individuals to submit to a medical intervention contrary to their will and their own best judgment, adds Mr. Pineda. Not only is this ethically wrong, it is also illegal. When we get before the court, we will be urging that they see these job mandates for what they really do, which is take away the long-standing rights of citizens to make informed decisions about their own medical care. So that's the end of that. That's the end of this article, and yeah, it also says yeah here like this yeah Canada's the part where he mentioned the charter. Um, yeah, like the government, they've yeah like on all three levels basically, not just provincial. The government they've been like they've pretty much just thrown the Charter of Rights and Freedoms like out the door or in the garbage, like whichever expression you want you like. Yeah, like the government they're pretty much like ignoring the Charter of Rights and Freedoms, and they're like pretending like the charter doesn't exist, or they're saying like the charter should be the charter like should be, or like the pandemic is something that justifies ignoring the charter and all that. So yeah, the government they've pretty much inf- yeah government they yeah the government they've like all they've been doing is just infringing on people's charter rights ever since the lockdowns first started, and now with these jobs they're trying to make it mandatory. They're trying to mandate it, so like you can't like do anything unless you've taken the job. So like all of it is like illegal. So yeah, and so yeah, like all of it is illegal, and there's no there's no basis for any of it. So yeah, like I'm sure this is just one of like many lawsuits that's like going to be filed. So I'm sure there's going to be more to come. So probably like other provinces, they'll start doing the same thing as well, where they'll start filing like constitutional challenges or lawsuits against the provincial government. So I'm sure this isn't going to be like the first and last time or like a lawsuit or a constitutional challenge is filed. So like I'm sure there's going to be more to come. So yeah, and also like in this like constitutional challenge. I think the JCCF is like representing like 8 people. So and also like the JCCF, I think they take on like constitutional cases like pro bono. So yeah, like they're a good like organization that like that like that pushes back against like unlawful like government mandates and all that. So so yeah, that's so so yeah, that's everything I want. So yeah, that's the end of this article, and I can close that. So yeah, that's everything I wanted to talk about because right now we're living in a time where people, or more specifically like Canadians' rights, are being infringed upon by like all 3 levels of government. So I hope, so I think like that gives people hope, as 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 I'm sure like many people are aware that the like these jab mandates are like unlawful and illegal, and all they do is just discriminate against people based on like a private and personal medical decision. So yeah, it's like basically like it's like it's like segregation all over again, except this time they're doing it based on like a on like your medical status, or yeah, like based on like a medical decision like you decided to make. So yeah, so I'm sure like that's not gonna be like the last of it. I'm sure there's gonna be more lawsuits filed against like prevent against like the government. So I'm sure like the other provinces, they'll start like doing the same thing as well. So as I'm sure like they're not gonna they're not gonna put up with it, as it's been like almost 2 years now that we've been in this like pandemic. So I'm sure people are getting like fed up now with all these restrictions and like these charter rights violations that the governments are committing. So yeah, hopefully there's more. So I'm sure there's more to come, and yeah, that's everything I wanted to talk about. So now I'll be signing off.